Hi, Alex here from Rebeloper.com, and in this episode we are going to continue to learn how to put a button on a SpriteKit project. So without further ado, let's get started. In the last episode, we have created our button and we have added it to our SpriteKit scene. And it looks something like this. Let me just build and run this and let's see how we left off. Okay, if we tap on that, we get our gameplay scene. Okay, let's just stop this and in our source control, let's commit. And it will be day 7, I believe. Let me just... Yes, I believe it was day 7, yes, and we are creating this new branch. And now we are going to create a new branch, our 8th day branch from the current day 7 branch. So branch from day 7 and it will be named day 8 and we are going to create it and we are setting it to current. Automatically it is set to current. So let's go and let's talk about what we are going to do today. Well, we are going to add labels to our buttons because sometimes you need a back button or a next button or a restart button and you don't want to simply create all of that inside a PNG file. You want to add some sort of labels. Okay, so for that, first things first, we need to add a font to our scene, to our project, sorry. And I have chosen this bubblegum TTF and I would just simply drag and drop it onto my project and make sure Add Targets is selected and click on Finish. Okay, now we need to copy all of, I need to copy the name of our font and go to Info, select your target, of course, go to Info and here click on this little plus button and type in fonts with a capital F and fonts provided by application and select that. And now under item 0, because we only have one item, the value should be this bubblegum.ttf. Okay, that is it for letting Xcode know that you have a TTF font available for you to use in your project. Okay, now next thing we want to set up is add our, let's create here a new group, new folder, and I will name this because I want to add a new button inside our gameplay scene, and I will just drag and drop this blue button, these 3 images for the blue button. And if you don't already know how this all works, go ahead and take a look at my previous video on how asset catalogs work. So here we have our blue button, and as you can see, it doesn't have any label. It is just a simple plain old blue button, and we will add the back label, the text, to our label on our blue button. Okay, good stuff till now. And now what we need to do is add our label to our BD button. Okay, well, first of all, let us just create this button as it is now. Okay, let's go to gameplay and here let's create. Okay, it will be of a BD button and let's instantiate it. It will be variable button and equals to BD button, and we will have image named, and I will just copy this out, button blue, and here we have our action, and the action should be that we go back to our main menu. So I will just copy this out, well, I will just cut this out and paste it inside our closure. Okay, and now we should set the button's Z position, let's say to 1, because maybe the background will be set on 0, and let us just return our button. And now let us just add this button. I will just comment all of this out so it should be in sync with our main menu code. And now we will add to our did move to view our button. So first of all, we set our position. So our back button position equals to CG point, and we will choose this one. If you remember, in the last episode I set it to CG point dot 0, but that was because our anchor point for the scene was right in the middle, and we wanted to add this to the middle of the scene. But now we will use our screen size property, and we will set this to the width of, let's say, 0.2, and the height for the screen size dot height should be, let's say, set to 0.85. We will see, we will test this out, and finally we will add this as a child to our scene. Okay, let's build and run and see how this all works out. We should first see our main menu. We will tap on the button, and here we have our back button, and if we tapped on it, of course we have our main menu presented, and I will just simply select this right transition, and it should move in from the left. Now we need to add our label, and finally we are ready to add our label. And now let's go to the BD button Swift file that we have just created and add our title label. So let's type in var title label, and this will be of type SK label node, and it will be an optional. So we want to create buttons with or without text labels. So let's add our title here, title, and it will be of type string, and it is an optional, and we will add this default value of an empty string. Now, first of all, we need to set our title labels to SK label node and with the text of title. Okay, with the text of title. And finally, we need to set up our node, of course. Let's go down here and see where the setup nodes function is. And now, if we have a title label, so let title label exist equals to title label, then we can set up our properties for our title label. So title label dot font name, and this will be of a certain font. We will find our font inside our project later on in just a minute. For now we will just set it to none. Okay, and then we set our title labels dot font size, and that should be, let's say, 10, and then the title labels dot font color, and it should be an SK color, and let's set it to white. Okay, finally we set the title labels Z position, that should equal to 1, the title labels horizontal alignment mode equals to dot center, and title label dot vertical alignment mode equals to center. This way a text label will be centered in our button. Okay, good stuff. And finally we need to add our title label to the button, to this node, and then we say if title label equals title label, and then we add this title label. Now what we need to find out, use of boolean, yeah, we need to if let, sorry about that, we need to use an if let statement. Now we need to find out the font name, and it is not the same as our font name provided by our file. So it is not bubblegum.ttf, and we need to log our fonts and find out what the real font name is. So what we need to do is just scroll down here and let us create a function here, log available fonts, and this will be a simple function. We will go through the font, all of the font family provided or available in our project, and we will print all of them out. So let's just type in for family of type string in UI font, and that will be family name. So we go through all of the UI fonts family names, and we will just simply print out our family name. So family, okay, and now we need to actually get that family name. So for names, this will be another string here in UI font dot family names, and now for family name family, we are just simply going to print out the name, and let's just make this double equal signs and names, okay, and that is it, names. And now all we need to do is call this log available fonts. So let me just go into the main menu scene, and here we have our play button, and after we add our play button, let's call upon this play button, log all available fonts, and let's just build and run and see all the fonts being logged inside our console. Okay, here we have them, as you can see, and now let us just search for bubblegum, and as you can see here we have our bubblegum with a capital B and a capital G. So I just copy this out and then go back to our BD button and go to our font name and simply paste that in there. Okay, good stuff. And now let us just, I believe we are ready to add our title label. Okay, let's go back to gameplay, and now we already have this back button, but I will just simply add here, and let me just go with the completion handler. I will just comment this out and create another button, and this will be equals BD button, and as you can see we have now two completion auto completions, and the one we will choose is that with the title, and I will just select the image name button blue, and the title should be, let's say, back, and the button action should be this transition. I just copy this out and paste it in here. Okay, let us build and run and see how all of this plays out. Okay, and let's tap on this, and here we have our back button. Okay, but it's kind of a small button, and we could just simply, let's say, go back to the BD button and change the font size, but that is not the idea, because if we run this on an iPhone SE or on an iPad Pro, this font size will just change. Well, the font size doesn't change, but the dimension and the resolution changes. So we need to create a universal font size, and we will do that inside our extensions, and we will extend upon our CG float. So it will be a public extension and of our CG float. And now what we want to create is a public static function. Let me just give you some room here so you may see. Okay, so we want a public static func. Okay, and it will be a named universal font sized. Okay, and maybe we just add this size here to be CG float, and it will return a CG float. Okay, now we want to check for the devices type and set the font size accordingly. So first of all, we check if device type is iPhone 4 or less. In this case, we will return the size, and we will multiply it by 0.6. And I have all of this tested out, so whatever size you add, this will be kind of a good one. Okay, and next up we have our iPhone 5. If device type, let me just copy this out and it will be much easier. So Command C and Command V. So the device type is iPhone 5. Then we will multiply it by 8. Okay, if the device type is, and the next one is iPhone 6, we will just leave it as is. Next up, if it is iPhone 6 Plus, okay, then we will just leave it again as it is. iPhone is iPhone 10, okay, and then we will set it to again 1.0, and let's go to the iPads. So is iPad. Okay, now we want to make this a 2.1. Yes, 2.1. Remember, these were experimented, these numbers. I set it to iPad Pro now, and this will be again 2.1. And if it isn't, that these devices aren't available, so let's make an else statement. So we return a value either way. So we will just return size multiplied by 0.1. So we will just simply return the size, and this warning should go away. So let us just build now. Okay, use of undeclared identifier, CG float. Let me just double check. Oh, CG float isn't available in our extensions, so we need to import UIKit. Okay, UIKit, or maybe let's just import foundations here. Let's just build and see. It has failed. SpriteKit. Oh, my bad. I have added a typo. It's not a GC float, it's CG float. You most probably have guessed this already. Okay, here we are. Let's go back to BD button. And now let us just replace this 10 with CG float dot and type in universal font, and we'll just maybe this completion, and let us just build this, and it will be universal font dot 10. Let's hit Command B. There is still a problem with our extension. Maybe we just need to, oh, it is missing argument. Very simple error handling. Okay, and now let us just build and run and see if it is okay with our label, and maybe we need to set it to, let's say, 20. Yes, we need to, let's set it to 24. Okay, now let's build and run, and I will just show you that how this will stand out in an iPad simulator. So let's go to our, yeah, that is good. And if we tap on back, we go back. Good stuff. Now let us just stop this, and for example's sake, let's run this on an iPhone SE, because the font size will be smaller here. Let's wait for it to run. Okay, here we have it. It's there. Okay, one last thing I want you to learn is that let me just show you how this works on an iPad Pro. Okay, because you will see the difference. Let me just start this up here and let you know how this back button looks like. And now I will just show you on my iPad Pro, and you will see immediately that the sizes are not correct. So this background is too small, and that is because we are not setting the width and height correctly according to our screen size dimensions. So we are going to create another function here inside our BD button, and it will be a new function, and let's name it scale to and screen size, screen percentage. Okay, and it will be a CG float. So what I want to accomplish is take the whole width of our screen and make the buttons with a certain percentage of our screen. Okay, screen's width. Okay, so I will just type in here let and aspect ratio, and this will be the buttons size dot height multiplied, or maybe better yet divided by buttons size dot width. Okay, now this way we know our aspect ratio, and we can set the height of the button according to the newly set up width. Okay, now we set our width to a screen width. Screen width is of course our screen size. Here it is, dot width. Okay, and of course we set our screen height to be our screen size dot height. Okay, pretty familiar stuff till now. Now, if our device type is iPhone 10, then we need to set a certain adjustment, and that is to set the screen height to be a little lower. So I will just subtract 80 points from that. Okay, 80.0. And now comes the fun part. We set the buttons dot size dot width to be the screen width multiplied by the screen width percentage, and now we get our new screen width, and we need to set finally our buttons size dot height to be the buttons new sizes width and multiplied by our aspect ratio. Left side, yes, we need to set this to var, okay, because it should be a variable. Now, how to use this? Well, it is pretty straightforward. Let's go to our gameplay here, and let's set our buttons. So let's just build now, so we may get auto completion, and let's set our button scale to, and let's say the percentage should be, I believe it should be around 25%. Okay, and it will be 0.25. Now let's just build and run on our iPad Pro and see if we have any changes in our, there we have it. And now let me just select our iPhone 10 and build that again too, and let's see all of the two in action side by side. Okay, Let me just tap on here and here. And as you can see, everything is scaled accordingly. The back text is, for the most part, according to our button, it is inside there. We use a universal CG font size for that, as we have set up earlier, and the width and the height of our button is set up according to the width of our seed. Okay, that covers everything you need to know about how to set up a button in a SpriteKit project. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to our channel, and I will see you in the next one.